Someone sent me a video about Ubi Franklin yesterday, a follower. I kind of watched the video and I believe she wants me to have an input on it. Watch. I'll be right back.
Guys, let me tell you a story, but this story will be a very kind of depressing one, but I'll tell you. On the 4th of January 2015, that's when I met my now ex-wife. I engaged her on the 19th of March 2015. And after I engaged her, I set up a nice dinner at the Red Restaurant of a hotel. I invited all my friends, big boys, everybody, 2015. And guess what? She didn't turn up. She had dropped the rings and left. I was so embarrassed because it was a big thing on social media. Everybody was talking about it. Have you ever cried to a point where you get to a certain level that you cannot cry again? That's where I was. I couldn't stay in my house. I ran away and went to Nyanya's house to see if I could find her because she disappeared. Nobody knew where she was. Finally called me that they found her. And after they found her, I started asking questions like, what happened? What happened? What happened? Nothing. I checked into a hotel. I don't know how she knew my room, but I knew that somebody knocked on the door on the 21st of March, 2015. And I opened the door, she was the one. And I said, why did you do this? She said, she just had a cold feet. So I asked, they say, sometimes people, when they are engaged, sometimes they feel like you are ready for something, but when it finally happens and you now find out that you're not ready for it, next step, let's start planning for the wedding. We flew to London. Got to London, we stayed in London for about a week. We landed Nigeria back from London on the 6th of April 2015. That day was AY Life. We dressed up, we went up for AY Life. It was beautiful, everything nice. I'm telling you this story to tell you things that have happened in my life that I have survived and I feel like, kind of almost broke me. And after AY Life, the next day, I just entered the room to see that she had dropped the ring on the bed and she had left. That was another roller coaster. So she got back sometime in June and said right now she was ready to get married. So I told her, it's okay, fine. You start planning the wedding. She planned the wedding and we got married. Unfortunately, and we went our separate ways. But I'll tell you something. We didn't go on social media to fight ourselves. We didn't kill anybody. We didn't, we became good friends. Sometimes she's angry with me. Sometimes I'm angry with her. We had people in between, who come and talk to us and say, you know what, you guys are cool. You've always been cool. Keep it moving. And we try to, live a good life for our son. I went through some crazy, depressing positions. I remember one time I bought a red CLA and I drove that car to Third Mainland Bridge to go and commit suicide. The only luck I had was my cousin, my brother Omini Stitches, that came to save me. Several times I tried to commit suicide, Omini saved me. Because I was so embarrassed, I didn't know what to do. I felt like, what have I done to deserve all of this? I had a good career going for myself. I had like the biggest artist in the country at the time. Everything was fine. So I just felt like it was a time for me to settle down. So sometimes I always feel like this relationship did not work because it was just meant to be that way. Because tell me, till today, I can't even really explain exactly what transpired. But we are very good friends. We co-parent very well. We celebrate events of our son. So sometimes I always believe that regardless of all the pain, I believe that the best result that I got from that was my son. And she's still doing very well. Any opportunity I ever have to support her, I always do it to the fullest. And I pray that she continue doing well. But this is a lesson I want you to learn from this is I don't want you to think that when something happens sometimes with a human being, you have to hate the human being. No, that's not the case. If something happens between you and somebody, sometimes it's just an opportunity for you to learn from the process, learn from every other thing, and keep it moving. If you're watching this, and if you're going through something, let me tell you something. Whatever happens to your marriage or your relationship or whatsoever, it's not the end of life. Sometimes it's an opportunity for you to learn a lesson and learn from things around you and keep it moving. I'll see you on the next episode. Stay blessed.
For me, this story is a reminder that we should never ignore repeated warning signs before marriage. First of all, I wasn't there. And I only know Ubi Franklin's side of the story. Every relationship has two sides. So this is simply my opinion based on what is shared publicly. From his narration, there were several moments where his fiancée appeared uncertain about getting married, missing the proposal dinner, disappearing, returning to say she was ready, leaving the engagement ring on the bed after what sounded like a pleasant trip and comedy show, then coming back months later to say she was ready again. Those are not small events. Whether there were reasons we don't know or not, they were clear signs that something significant needed to be addressed before walking down the aisle. Marriage isn't something you should just enter because you hope other person's feeling will eventually catch up. If one person is fully committed, while the other keeps pulling away, that's a serious issue that deserves honest conversation, not assumptions. And again, this is just my personal impression, is that Ubi came across as very confident, almost to the point of sounding like he expected his success, influence, and celebrity connection to speak for him. Confidence isn't a bad thing. Success isn't a bad thing. But not every woman is attracted to status. Some women simply want peace, emotional connection, and private life. Having famous friends or attending celebrity events may impress some people, but for others, it means absolutely nothing. You know, sometimes men think, look at everything I've achieved. How can she not want me? But attraction doesn't work like that. You can't negotiate genuine feelings with influence, money, or popularity. I even wonder whether attending a big comedy show and being around that public lifestyle made her ask herself, is this really the life I want? We don't know. That's speculation. But people sometimes discover they are incompatible only when they experience each other's lifestyle more closely. One lesson I've learned in life is this. When someone repeatedly shows uncertainty about spending the rest of their life with you, don't rush to convince them. Let them go if that's what they truly want. Love works best when two people are equally excited about building a future together. At the same time, it's important not to conclude that one person alone caused the marriage to fail. Relationships are usually more complicated than they appear from the outside. And we only heard one perspective. The lessons are simple. Don't ignore repeated red flags before marriage. Never assume success or money will make someone love you. Genuine love cannot be forced or negotiated. Compatibility matters just as much as attraction. If someone keeps walking away, don't spend your life chasing certainty from someone who isn't sure. Marry someone who chooses you willingly, not someone you have to keep persuading. At the end of the day, marriage is hard enough when two people are fully committed. It becomes even harder when one person enters with unresolved doubts. Peace.